Hi, you're watching Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media on all of our platforms. I'm Mike Morales here in San Antonio. That young man over there is...
Matt Metris in Rochester, New York.
And Matt and I have had a very unusual uh, tasting so far of this brand, which is called Viva 23.
32.
Excuse me. I always get those. I always get those numbers wrong. I'm not. I guess I'm dyslexic. But anyway, I'm tequila.
They went with Roman.
Yeah.
Bottle.
Well, you know, and it's a neat bottle. We actually, the design. I love the artwork. I think we nominated it for Brand of Promise in that category. Now, just to be on the safe side, this is coming from Destilería Leiros. That is the the nome is 1489. For those of you who are watching us, this particular distillery also makes Republic Tequila. It also makes, and I showed this on camera during the Blanco, it makes this brand Don Fermin, and one that Matt serves on occasion.
And also Casa Dragones.
Casa Dragones.
On rare occasions.
Yeah, they're on rare occasions.
Casa Dragones.
Now you said that a shot of Casa Dragones goes for how much at your restaurant?
$35. 35.
Okay, so for $5 more, you could have the whole Hoven bottle.
Yep.
That's craziness, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
I was struck by the aroma of the nose. I dug up my POS material that the PR company was really nice enough to send this to us. I believe that let me find the name of the company that made this happen, because we've got to give them kudos for reaching out to us. The name of the PR company is Janice McCafferty PR, and they were really cool to bring this out to us. Very nice presentation, lots of neat information. Now this is a woman brand owner, and she is a huge philanthropist, particularly where it comes to animal abuse. If you Google her, you probably find a lot of information on Yvonne Naemi. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's spelled like Miami, only with an N. I guess the story goes that she wanted to create a tequila that wasn't going to cost you an arm and a leg, and for purposes of her charities, because she's a big philanthropist. So it's not like she's not your average brand owner, not like other brand owners who need to make a living. She's very well off and well known for her charity work. So it's not like she has to, she's in a unique position in the spirits industry. Be that as it may, I think Matt broke down, the breakdown of how much goes where with her charities.
Sure. Yeah, there's a lot of unique things going on with this brand in and of itself. Being woman-owned is not something we see very often. Hovens we rarely ever see on the market. We don't see a lot of diffuser brands, but there are some on the market. But one of the other neat things that they're doing here is on their website, on their POS material, they have a breakdown of where all the money goes in a bottle. So if you go to the liquor store and buy a $45 bottle, you have no idea where that $45 is going, right? But here they break it down for us. So $4 went into the production of the tequila, $2.50 went into the bottle, $4 went into taxes, $22 goes into markup, and that gets broken down between the importer, the distributor, the retailer, and then $10 is the cut that they take at Viva 32. So it's really interesting to see that transparency. It's something that almost no brand will tell you how much money they're making on a specific bottle of tequila.
Yeah, and I think that the tequila is the means to the end, and her end
Right.
was to every bottle sold. It says 10% of the net proceeds we donate to animal abuse prevention, and that's what she's known for. So You know, kudos to her. I think that a very noble, um, it's very noble effort, you know, on her part. She also picked from what I consider a very reputable distiller who doesn't hide the fact that he has a diffuser. Matt mentioned that just recently he went to Mexico and took the Sauza tour, and you said that they didn't let you take pictures of the diffuser.
No, they definitely will not let you take any pictures, even in the room where the diffuser is, and they have autoclave and some stills in that room too. They are very protective of that. Yes, but if
you said, how big is this thing? It's as big as a train, right?
I believe it's about as wide as a train, maybe more. It's 2 stories high. It's about 75 feet long.
Wow.
It's a monster.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's almost like it was like a custom built for them. I think I would imagine.
I assume. I mean, Sauza does a lot of volume too, so you know I don't know how big the diffuser they're using here is versus the Sauza one. You know, I'm sure they have a giant one in the Cuervo distillery too somewhere hidden in the back. You know, but
well, it's not at La Rojena. It's probably in Las Camachinas, the other one that
sure.
Now they're all under the same nom. And no one's ever seen Las Camachinas. That's where they were making. I think they made what was the name of that tequila? Oh my gosh! It used to be one of my favorite reposados to sip. It's the one with the angel on it. But anyway, regardless, that's we suspect that's where the diffuser is. I mean, you can't hide these things.
No, they're not.
You can probably see it from Google Maps. You know, you can get that and see this thing. But anyway,
right.
I think she picked a wonderful means to an end, and we're gonna pop open this. We tried we tried the original Hoven version, and I was struck by the nose. I really enjoyed the nose. It had a really interesting nose.
Absolutely.
Look at this cork.
It's very woody.
Look at the cork. Is this like it looks like a pressed, like a recycled, maybe it's even agave. Who knows? I wonder what the cork is made from.
I know. I mean, it looks cork. The plug itself is synthetic, but the cork looks like actual cork.
Yeah. That's cool. I've never seen. I mean, it's obviously light. You know, it saves on packaging and boxing and things like that. Got a neck tag with the information on it, so it looks like, you know, like clothing, like a clothing neck tag.
Yeah, and with a picture of the dog. Everything's got the picture of Phil
the dog, right? So I'm gonna pour some of this reposado in my Riedel.
All right, I'm using a Libby tequila glass for this one. And I don't use these very often. I broke my other Riedel.
Actually made these.
Yeah, it's very rocks glassy. It's got a little bit of a curvature to it. But I got a set of these, I think, for Christmas.
And they're actually
and it's not
glasses?
They're marketed as tequila glasses, and they're not like any other tequila glass that I've ever used. Or like they have a slight curve like a Glencairn, but not anywhere to the extreme of that. And the mouth is significantly wider than a Riedel glass.
How's the glass itself? Because Libby makes thick glass. I mean,
it's heavy. It's heavy, and you can see there's a little bit of like a punt at the bottom.
Yeah.
That's substantial. It's a sturdy glass. It's definitely
okay.
It might be better suited to like whiskey on the rocks, but we'll give it a try for this.
Give it a vodka rocks. Yeah, give it a shot.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to find out what you think.
Yeah. So it's got some thicker legs that compared to the Hoven.
Yeah,
definitely have a good coating.
My lighting here is not the greatest. I'm kind of stuck in a corner here, but the legs and tiers are a little bit better than they were in the Hoven. They're clingier from what I can see.
I just spilled some Reposado on my keyboard, so hopefully that'll not be problematic.
Hey, it's still alcohol. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Clean it up.
Now, let's see. The POS says how many months is this rested? Because I know that they're using American oak.
6 months. In American oak barrels, yeah. I
Wow.
think you said they were new American oak. It doesn't say on here specifically.
I'm not sure if it's new, but I know they said American oak.
Yeah.
I have seen pictures of Enrique Legorreta is the owner of the distillery, and I've seen pictures of his barrel room slash office. It's gorgeous. He has a beautiful barrel room.
Oh, I'm sure.
So I can imagine that his barrel management is where he really shines. But I gotta tell you, if it came down to this or Sauza or El Jimador, I would go here.
Absolutely.
Now there's still that sweetness in the nose
Mm-hmm. But
that
it's definitely not as overwhelmingly aromatic as the Hogan was. That one really just hits you with this woody, piney
yeah,
vegetation smell, and this one is more subtle. Yeah, balanced out with some sweetness from like caramel and vanilla kind of barrel notes.
it's very light. I mean, it's almost like a straw color for 6 months.
Yeah,
It's almost as if this was an older barrel, maybe.
could be. Yeah. Hmm. One thing I'm noticing with this particular glass too is the ethanol is much more overpowering, and I don't know if that's because of the
Really?
glass or than it was with the Hoven.
Now, you didn't. I just broke the seal on mine. I haven't had a chance to taste it beforehand, and I think neither did you, right?
I did not. I just opened them before we started taping.
Okay, yeah. So this is literally sipping off the cuff. We have not had a chance to try this prior to going on camera. Now, I will tell you that the reposado that I smell here is reminiscent of the reposado that we tasted with the Republic tequila. And the funny thing was,
Hmm.
Matt, when we went through the entire line, they went from blanco to extra añejo. The reposado
Mm.
for us, for Alex and myself, was the weakest of the line. The the actual the actual brand itself shined
Hmm.
in añejo and extra añejo. This nose that I'm getting reminds me a lot of the nose
Hmm.
of the Republic tequila, and we thought it was the weak link in the brand.
Sure. I see that sometimes in a lot of lines that do a Blanco really well, do an Añejo really well, and their Repo is just sort of not that great. And you kind of wonder what happened there.
Well, especially this year, and I've spoken to this with several of the other tasters, and maybe even with you. The Reposado this year, 2017, is like the year that the Reposado made a statement. It's
Hmm.
it's very, this is very rare to have a Repo fall flat on its face or fail slightly. Where you think the natural progression is going to be.
Sure.
If I were to judge the two together, I prefer the Hoven just because I love the nose on the Hoven.
Yeah, it was a great nose.
It had like I said, those gin qualities that the very aromatic, and it even said we looked at the flavor notes off camera, and it said it had like notes of yerba buena, which is basically spearmint.
Hmm.
I didn't get that, but we got other stuff on it.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
So what do you think? Do you think wow, it must be unusual in that glass. I really would like to be the fly on the wall to smell it off of that glass.
Yeah, right.
I didn't even know Libby had one, honestly.
Yeah, I didn't honestly know that either. And we get a lot of Libby glasses at work. We actually have flutes from
Yeah,
Libby
yeah.
that we use for
Well,
tequila glasses.
I used to sell Libby.
And this is,
Yeah.
yeah,
Libby, when I was in the food business, I sold paper, food, and chemicals, and Libby is just, it's restaurant glassware. It's known to stand up to washing after washing.
absolutely.
But
And that's
you know, with
one of
with the
the,
new glassware that's out there, it makes sense that they would come up with wine glasses and specialized glasses.
absolutely. And one of the problems, so to say, with the Rito is that it's very fragile glass when you're washing it. And you don't want to put it in the dishwasher, and you wash it by hand, and they break really easily. And
Yep. You knock it
So,
over, and it's history.
yeah.
All right. Well, let's taste this guy. And see.
All right. It's definitely thin, like the Hoven was. I get some citrus right up in the front.
Yeah,
honestly.
I did too. I'm gonna have to retaste this, and I actually rinsed out with vodka, like I said I did.
Mm-hmm. So they're saying a hint of toasted nuts lend a crisp, buttery balance. A medium finish of vanilla and floral notes create a well-rounded, refined, and delicate taste. So I'm not finding any of that.
Me neither.
I am getting the same bitterness on the edges.
Yes.
That we got, that we speculate is a byproduct of the production process. And a little bit of a spiciness, like a pepper that was present in the Hoven too.
Yes, the pepper is there, but I'm not getting any of those notes that they're claiming that they have.
Yeah, I can find like a hint of butter maybe, but
yeah, but the butter that I get, I'm going to tell you right now. You ever microwave popcorn?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know how when you're microwaving it, the whole kitchen starts to smell like microwave popcorn?
Yeah.
That's the butter that I'm getting.
Yeah, like an artificial butter additive. Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you. That's our show, folks.
Have a good night.
Have a good night. Thank you. And happy Tequila Day.
It is National Tequila Day.
Yes, it is. So we're like we're telling people we're drinking this, so you don't have to.
Yeah.
But tell me, explain to the folks who are not aware of what a diffuser does, because you did a great Reader's Digest explanation.
Sure.
For the average person that walks up to you and says, "Hey, Matt, I heard this is made with a diffuser. What is it? What does it do?"
Yeah, so a diffuser, like we mentioned, is this giant machine, and you take the uncooked agave piñas and basically blast them with high-pressure steam and sulfuric acid, grind them to pieces, extract all the juice, filter out the acid, and then you cook the juice in an autoclave. And the whole process, start to finish, takes about 3 hours. And it's a huge time saving compared to the next quickest method, which would be an autoclave and a shredder roller mill, which will take you anywhere from 18 to 24 hours start to finish. And a monumental time saving compared to a brick oven and a Tahona wheel, which will take you days. So from an economic standpoint, you're saving a lot of money using the diffuser, which is why brands that use a diffuser tend to gravitate towards that, especially if you're trying to market your tequila at a lower price point, as we see with like the Sauzas and the El Jimador and those sort of things are all in the 20 and under range. So,
so that there's your Reader's Digest explanation. It's just a matter of economics. It's faster. It gets the product out to the public faster. The price points are lower, and you don't pay an arm and a leg. There's a few other, some people call it shortcuts. You don't. If you look at Destilería Leidos, that you could find their videos on YouTube. Also, you can read about them on Tequila Aficionado. They were very upfront and open with information. They don't have as many employees. It's not as the manual labor is kept down to a minimum.
Sure.
So, that's good for the distillery. It's just great for your bottom line if that's what you're worried about. In this case, in Yvonne's case, I think the tequila is a means to an end, and she set out to accomplish something, and she did. And more power to her, because she'll tell you exactly where the money's going, and where the money for the charity goes, and that's her bottom line. So as I said earlier, she's in a unique position she's not like Guillermo Souza or Herman Gonzalez or the Camarenas that need to make a living making traditional tequila, and it takes a much longer time. It's a longer process. Those names I mentioned, those guys have been in it for the long haul. They have pedigree. They know it's not something that you can do overnight.
Right.
And so there you go. I think if anybody wants to experiment with what the big deal is with diffuser tequilas, I think this is a really good example of the type of quality diffuser that you get, when you try something like this. Of the two, I think Matt would agree with me. I think the Joven is the star of the show.
Absolutely. And I was just thinking, I'd like to see how the Joven mixes into a margarita.
Yeah.
Because I think with those aromatics, that would make a really interesting margarita.
I think so too, or even like mix it as a gin and tonic or something, because it's really got those it's got that aromatic botanical thing going on for it that some mezcals have actually. And I'm wondering if you could substitute it for anything that requires gin.
Probably, yeah.
Like a martini or something. I don't know.
Gimlet, maybe.
A gimlet? There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the bartender. You tell me. But, I'm not much of a cocktail guy, so I rely on guys like you who have made several of these and go, okay, well, I think I can work with this. Yeah. Let us know, please.
Totally.
If there is a typical, cocktail where something like this would shine, then, maybe it's not a bad thing. And know that 10% of your money is going to go to charity. So life is good.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's a worthy brand to support a charity. It's probably great for charity functions. And it's affordable.
Yeah, definitely.
There's lots of pluses. Again, that's our take on Viva 32.
32. And we mentioned last time the bottle is really neat.
The bottle is very cool, very unique. I love the design. It photographs very, very well. So, and I don't know. I'd love to know more about this cork. I would like to know more about the cork.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I don't know if that's agave paper, agave pulp, but it seems to be from recyclable, and it stands up really. It doesn't, it's very sturdy. So, what can I tell you, man? I think
it'll be interesting to see how this works out over time too, because you see a lot of these two-part corks where the top will come off after a lot of repeated opening and closing. So this one, it seems sturdy, yanking, sorts of stuff like that. So
yeah. I what can I tell you? That's our take with Matt Metris. I'm Mike Morales here in San Antonio. Matt, you're particularly where in New York?
Rochester, New York.
Rochester. And, you've been watching Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media, all of our platforms. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you happen to be listening or watching. Okay? As we like to say here, tomar sabiamente.
Sip wisely.